It's time for The Shelf. Whangarei District Libraries Radio on Beagle Radio. Oh!
Kia ora, Glenn.
Kia ora, Zahna.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Welcome to The Shelf. Whangarei District Libraries radio show on Beagle Radio, 88.1 FM.
Lovely. What do we got on today? Quite a few bits.
Got heaps on today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Play Week, which happened last week.
Yeah, and some Halloween events, which happened again. It was very busy in the library and around town. So much festivity and fun, and lots of fun for the kids and spooky times. And we're going to talk about a bit what we're reading. Me and Glenn reading lots of things. We've got an interview with a local author who is also a librarian.
I know, it's hit the jackpot there and the double. The librarian author.
Awesome. How lucky for us. So he's going to delve us into his book and what it was like to write that. And yeah.
I think we'll talk about a little bit about what's coming up in the library in town in 116 if we get a chance at the end of the hour.
Yeah. So enjoy it all. And the songs that you'll hear today are mostly from the playlist that the author combined with the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So find out more. Stay tuned to find out what that's all about.
Yeah.
I think he explains that in the interview we did with him the day before yesterday.
Cool. Awesome.
Should we kick it off, though, with what we've been reading? And I'm going to throw it over to you, Zahna. Pass the ball your way.
All right.
What have you been reading?
I'll pass it back soon. But as always, I've been deep into my fantasy and expanding out into romance books, which is nothing I hold back. I think it's amazing to delve into both of these genres. It's called A Court This Cruel and Lovely by Stacia Stark. Okay, I honestly have a little bit of embarrassment with talking about romance books. Like, I try not to, but I think it's a little bit of a hidden section of the library. But anyways, I think it's a lovely genre to get into. There's,
Why would you say it's a hidden section? Because I'd say it's a very popular section.
It's very popular, but I think maybe, I don't know if it's just myself or it's a bit more hush.
Hush?
No, hush.
Oh, hush.
Yeah, maybe a bit like...
What, because people are embarrassed to be reading romance?
I don't know if this is just me, but maybe.
Oh, well, people take truckloads of them out, though.
Literally truckloads, which is amazing. I don't think anything of it. Like, whoever they are, if they're bringing up romance, I'm like, woo. But
you're with friends here. You don't need to be embarrassed talking about your romance book.
Just friends and a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, we're all friends.
Hey. Okay, well... The one that's called A Court This Cruel and Lovely, that's fantasy, but there's also a romance that plays into it. I'll read you a little synopsis. For years when I fell asleep, I dreamed of a man with blazing green eyes and a cruel smile. The day I meet him, the ruthless mercenary leaves me for dead. Just hours after humans are born, the gods take what little power we have. In return, they protect our borders from the vicious, merciless Fae. The humans who manage to keep their power are known as the corrupt, and they are burned. When my forbidden power is discovered, I'm forced to flee my tiny village and the life I adore. To survive, I make a desperate bargain with the mercenary who abandoned me at my weakest. Our deal is simple. I'll help him and his mysterious friends sneak into the city, and he'll help me learn to wield the strange dark power I've always kept hidden, the power that may just be key to my survival. And it goes on, and the adventure is so great, and I just love the way that... I was just encaptured by the book.
So it sounds like a bit of adventure thrown in with romance, thrown in with fantasy.
Yes, thrown in with... they don't immediately get together, so they're just... I don't know, it's more about the main protagonist just coming into her power and rising up against the greats, the bad powers, and it was just a really, really good book. So
excellent. Now tell me, what was the title of that one?
That was A Court This Cruel and Lovely.
A Court That's Cruel and Lovely?
Yeah, This
Cruel and Lovely. And what's the author's name? Stacia Stark?
Stacia Stark, I'll go with. Yeah. So that's my fantasy, but I'm also...
And if you had to rate it, give it a rating.
I I'd probably, for the time I read it, like a 4 out of 5. I think when you read books at different times, like sometimes you're just really needing this sort of story, so you love it, but maybe someone else reads it and they're not really wanting that, so they rate it low. So
But you loved
give
it.
it a try.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah.
Cool.
And I do read Strictly Romance, but she's more of I must say, I don't know a lot about her, but an upcoming author. She kind of became popular on Book Talk more. Her name's Ellie Hazelwood, and I think some people recognize her because, yeah, she's becoming really popular, but I've just started reading her books. She's Strictly Romance. It's more very light and easy to read. I just wanted to shout her out because she focuses her books around women in science or STEM.
Yeah.
Which is...
Interesting.
Yeah, which is... so some people in the book, they're scientists and mathematicians and engineers, and they're just... It's really nice to hear that. It's really nice for the woman in a romance to be, like, in these books, just, like, super educated and intelligent and blasting off with her career, and she has strength and confidence, and when she meets the other male or the other person in the romance, it's sort of like they're on equal terms, and it brings up the reason she wrote these books is because she herself is in that sort of area of work, and she felt herself a bit of a disconnect, and she'll describe it better, but disconnect between her and her male colleagues and all of that in the industry and how women are treated. So she just put that through her book. So there's a little bit of like plays into the energetics of being a woman in STEM pathways. But yeah, very empowering, great romance. Ellie Hazelwood, get into it. I'm reading the one about chess at the moment. She only has 5 or 6 books, but go through them all. They're super easy to read. We have them all in our libraries. And yeah, and
then you mentioned chess.
Right? So books inspire me to do things. Sometimes it's, honestly, using a bow and arrow, which some people are into at the library. But sometimes it's playing chess, which I've been into for a little while, but comes off and on. But since
Was
reading,
it inspired by the book? The Ellie Hazelwood book?
Yeah, being re-inspired. So I played ages ago, but then I read this book. I started it last week. I'm finished, and the two main people in the book, they're playing great tournaments of chess, and the woman who's the main character, she's just super powerful playing chess and just studying it and being so passionate about this game and all the sport, and it inspired me. So I got chess books out from the junior section because a strong tip, if you just want more of a simplified version of reading something with more pictures maybe, I often go to the junior section to just see how that subject sort of starts. Sometimes the non-fiction upstairs is a bit too much for me, so I got a junior non-fiction book out on chess, and I've been reading through that, and it just took me through the basics again, and I'm playing my plays. And
nice. Do you play in person, or do you do online games?
both. I try challenge anyone I meet, so I've challenged a couple of people at work, but I play just online and just with family members and friends when I can. So
awesome. We've got a number of chessboards in the library, and
Yes.
They're quite well used, and I think there's a bunch of people that meet on a particular day of the month or the week. I have a feeling like a sort of an informal club.
yeah,
So if you are wanting to have a game of chess, you can often find
people around
at the
really
library
wanting
that
to play.
wanting to play. Actually, one thing we want to do, someone suggested that we need to have a little flag that you put up when you're wanting to play someone. So it's like you say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm looking for a game."
Little letterbox sort of.
Sort of like a
That's
That's on my to-do list.
I think it's a really good idea because you kind of feel that awkward, or maybe that awkward moment of, is that person just
sitting at the table alone, or are they looking for a game?
Can I sit at the table alone? Will anyone approach me? So, yeah.
So we might give that a go.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Mm.
Well, that's all I'm reading, and
That sounds quite a lot, though.
yeah, plus the other 30 books I have at home. But
Nice. I also agree about the junior non-fiction as a great way to get an overview of a subject.
yeah,
So if you're just looking, I don't know, ancient Greece, or
yes,
you can get a synopsis of it in clear, easy to understand language in a really short time. High school projects, for example, I tried to direct my own children, and other people say, hey, look, there's some really awesome simple facts to give you a timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to go full on deep non-fiction sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the overview is good from the children's non-fiction.
And just discover parts of the library. Just because you're maybe an adult, you can't. You can also discover the teen section. I went into the teen non-fiction the other day. They have a lot of stuff that just takes you back into... Yeah, it's just that little step up from juniors, but go into the junior section and just discover whatever you like. There's many parts of the library.
For sure.
But Glenn is also reading something very exciting.
Well, I've been reading a couple of things. One of the books I read this past few weeks was the book we're going to talk to Eddie about.
Oh, yes.
A volatile mixtape, it's called.
Yes.
So I'll save that for the interview coming up shortly. But then on Labour weekend, I found myself at the beach in a cabin with nothing to do.
Ooh.
And I thought, what am I going to do? And the whole bookshelf. And I pulled off Skullduggery Pleasant, the first book. Skullduggery Pleasant is a children's teens series, fantasy, written by Derek Landy, an Irish author. And it's kind of about a young detective called Valkyrie Kane, and she has adventures with her mentor called Skullduggery Pleasant, who is basically, I mean, I'm only 1.5 books into the series because I read.
Keep going.
Well, it's like now I want to find out what happens.
Awesome!
And I'm told that it gets better at book 6 as well. Like it was good the first book, I enjoyed it, but apparently it really starts kicking on.
Awesome.
The main sort of character, Skullduggery Pleasant, or one of the main characters, is basically just a skeleton.
Yeah.
And sort of dresses in a hat, sunglasses, and a scarf around his face. So, yeah.
Cool.
So, kind of magical fantasy.
Awesome.
There's always that little bit with some teen books where it moves really fast.
Yeah.
And does some really big kind of jumps.
Yeah, yeah.
But I quite enjoy that. It kind of makes it for an easy bit of reading.
Yeah, just hop along, get something exciting.
So
that's cool.
That's not a new series. I think that started in 2007. So I know it's been around for ages, but it's interesting when you're desperate, you pick up something and you discover you really like it.
Lovely. What a win.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The other book I read, which I mentioned, was A Volatile Mixtape, which is written by our fellow colleague, Librarian Eddie. You can see him working at the libraries. And he's a man of many talents.
Yes, he is.
I've seen him perform in a band. He plays the guitar and sings.
Amazing.
But he's also, as it turns out, written a book, which I couldn't believe about. I couldn't believe it because we didn't really know when he started working at the library.
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of reading this book. I think should we just cut to the interview, and I think we talk all about it there.
Let's do it.
So this is me and Zahna and I talking to Eddie on Monday in the library. We are here, Zahna and I. Hello, Zahna.
Hello.
We're here with local Whangarei author Eddie Williams.
Woo!
Known in the book world as E.J. Williams. What does the J stand for?
John.
John.
Or Jehovah, I don't mind.
Okay, either.
Call me anything, just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay. Well, thanks to Eddie for being here, E.J. Williams. And Eddie, you are a modern Renaissance man. I've always wanted to introduce someone like this. We're joined by Eddie Williams. He's an author. He's a librarian. He's a musician. He's a father. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. The fathering was the hardest part.
Excellent. Well, we're here to talk about not only, all sorts of things, but your book, which is called
A Volatile Mixtape.
A Volatile Mixtape. Fiction book.
Fiction, yes.
Which I just read recently and thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend this book to anyone. it's kind of like a Kiwi. Well, this is how I would describe it, and then you can tell me if I've got the right if I've read your book or not.
Yeah.
Sort of like a teenage coming of age adventure comedy Kiwiana fest.
Yep, that sums it up nicely.
I sort of, when I was reading it, it has quite a dialect of New Zealand slang in it.
Too
that-
right.
A little bit like when I read Train Spotting.
Mhm.
The first few pages I had to get my brain into gear,
Yeah.
and then after a while I'm like, oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah, the language.
And then it took a few wicked turns. It was going along in one direction, then the plot shifts.
Mm.
Yeah, great book. Really,
Cool.
really enjoyed it. And so,
Thank you.
can we buy this book anywhere?
You can buy it directly from me
Uh-huh.
by sending an email to Whangarei Library,
Yeah.
or you can buy it from Ward's Music in Cameron Street for the low price of $20,
Mm,
or from the Piggery Bookshop for the same price.
excellent.
Yep. You can also go to Wheeler's book
Publisher?
website.
Yep.
Wheeler's the publisher, and they will send a copy up to you as well.
Nice. So, did the way I described the book, is that how you would describe it? How do you describe it?
That's pretty much it. So it's set in the 1980s, which is the thing a lot of people need to know right from the start.
True. That was obvious to me.
Hence a lot of the slang and things of that time, like the preeminence of Doc Marten boots and punk music.
Yeah.
And contained a lot of tobacco depictions, I must say.
There's a lot of
Health
smoking
warning.
in the book.
Right.
So it's
For the
about
teens.
teenagers, and they
Right.
were big in smoking,
Yeah.
which
Yes,
kind
it
of
was
was
a big
quite
thing.
surprising to me, but
Yeah.
apparently that's the way it was
That's
back
the way
in the
it
80s.
was back in the 80s, yep.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's about the main character Matthew Steele and the struggles he faces with stage fright as a musician, and the struggles he overcomes with difficult friendships and difficult families. But yeah, the tone is very much light and humorous, but there is a bit of a unexpected twist at the end, which is a nod to my obsession with crime fiction.
Ooh.
Totally. So you're going along in this sort of teenage
Don't spoil it.
comedy world,
Okay.
and then suddenly you realise you've been happily tricked
Yeah.
into a mystery. And I thought,
Ah.
this is... So it's kind of a bit of a genre jumper.
Genre bender, yeah.
It's
It's
like a
a
genre
bit of a
bender.
Genre blender.
whodunit at the end.
Yeah.
Some
Awesome.
people who've read it have likened it to S.E. Hinton's books, which were set in the 60s America, about youth culture and gang culture, and how friends get along, particularly male friends, in a macho sort of world, and how they overcome their shyness or their awkwardness and so forth. Yep. Yeah.
And it's got, obviously, I enjoyed the music thread. There's the characters perform in a band.
Yep.
So there's lots of references to punk
Yeah,
stuff.
and as most bands, they can never make up their minds about what the band's going to be called. So at the start of the book, they're called the Adenoids because they get up people's noses. And then they decide to have a brainstorming session, and they come out with Morpork Alarm Clock, which is an
Oh.
extremely Kiwiized name.
Yeah.
And so the narrative of the first part of the book follows them through the rise and fall of Morpork Alarm Clock, and they have a big gig at SPAM, which is the Society for Promotion of Alternative Music, which actually existed in Queen Street or K Road, I can't remember exactly.
way.
Okay.
Yes,
Sweet.
back in the 80s, and I played there myself. So a lot of it is based on my experience.
Oh, well, that
and
was...
my friend's experience in the band.
So you're a musician, Eddie.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What do you play?
Back then, I played drums badly.
Okay.
I was supposed to be the drummer, but our lead singer, who wasn't allowed to put any money towards the band, became the lead singer because they don't need to buy much equipment. And I became the drummer because I was the only one who had a part-time job and able to buy drums. Turned out he was a much better drummer, and I liked singing.
Right.
So we switched it around, and that's how the book starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quite a bit of it's
Cool.
based on Your personal experience?
My misspent
Yeah.
youth, yes.
Wow.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So when you come to the library and you see, you know, a mild-mannered librarian,
You never know.
dodgy
In the
purse,
cardigan.
lots of antics in the teenage years.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you write this book?
So it took me at least a decade to write, to be honest. Stopped and started and thought, can I do this? Can I not do this? And then I finished it and I put it in a cupboard and I went to a few publishers and agents and they basically weren't interested, and I thought, oh well, I had to go. And then I put it online, and a friend of mine who is also a drummer read it online and he said, oh my God, Ed, that was the first book I've read since I left high school 30 years ago.
Aw.
And I thought, oh, okay, maybe people might be interested. So then I got in touch with a New Zealand children's and young adult author called Fleur Beale, and she assessed the manuscript for me and tidied it up and gave me suggestions about how it could have more impact, change the ending and things like that, and that was a great experience. And so then my wife read it and she said, you should just self-publish it. Just do it. And I said, yeah, but it costs a lot of money. And she said, so what? You don't have many other hobbies apart from music, which is expensive. But she said, just go ahead and do it. So I did it and I got 100 copies printed off. I've sold 30-ish.
Cool.
I've given away 30-ish. And if anyone wants the remaining 40, please contact me.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Well, as I said at the start, I highly recommend it. So
That's
please
amazing.
do that.
I'll definitely get into it.
Yeah.
And it's available at the library.
So you can borrow it from the library if you want to.
Yes, it's currently out, so put it on a hold request and you'll get it.
Do you want to give, for the listeners at home or in the car or wherever they are, do you want to give us a little reading from the book?
Sure, I'll start with track 1. So because it's called Volatile Mixtape, it's broken into tracks instead of into chapters. And each track is the title of a song.
Yeah, obviously we've got an age range here in the room.
Yeah.
Would you get mixtape? Zahna?
I've never had a mixtape given to me.
But you know what the
or
concept
created
is.
a tape, and somehow you got music onto this tape.
It's
and-
like a playlist,
Yeah.
but old tech. So
Yeah.
you would record either from the radio to the tape, the
How
songs
did you
liked.
do that? Through just a machine?
You had
or
a machine. You
something,
had a
right.
3-in-1 tape deck, which was just amazing, the best thing.
That's
Or you recorded from a
cool.
record through the tape, and if you really liked someone, like a member of the
Yes.
opposite sex or someone you were attracted to, the highest compliment was to make them a mixtape.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then
That's
some
so
And it
tape.
took hours,
romantic.
literally
Oh,
hours,
that's
because it
so
was done in real time.
That's
Wow.
right. Well, and they made machines, tape recorders with 2 tapes.
Yeah,
so
and you
would
could copy
dub
tape to tape.
one tape to tape.
Ah,
You
those
play
were
tape
days.
A and then you push record and it would record tape B.
Ah,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I love this.
yeah. Anyway, track 1 is called Reckless. Instead of snorting coke or snogging a groupie, Matthew Steele was straddling a porcelain throne, crapping his guts out. The stomach cramps were frequent and intense. Sweat dripped down his face and back. There was only one way through it, and that was to count. Like a human metronome, Matt counted off the seconds between each spasm to ward off the writhing beast of panic. Maybe it originated in his time as a drummer, but he always felt more in control if he could put a rhythm to whatever was troubling him, even bowel movements.
Keep going, just a little bit more.
Matt had dreamt of this moment for much of his 17 years, backstage preparing for his debut gig as lead singer of a rip-snorting band. Thousands, okay, hundreds at least, of expectant fans were waiting for them to take the stage.
Keep going.
A manic rapping on the toilet door was followed by a venomous voice hissing, "Geez, Matt, get your ass out of here, will ya? We're on in 5 minutes." It was Duncan Jones, guitarist and supreme overlord of the Adenoids. Being Matt's oldest friend didn't mean he went any easier on him than he did on the rest of the band. Duncan demanded absolute dedication, punctuality and professionalism. He didn't make allowances for lead singers with crook guts, best mate or not.
Cool, yes.
Good. I can feel the talking book version coming
That's
on.
what I was just about to say.
Yes.
There you go. There's another
Well,
project for you.
amazing.
If it did happen, I've got a friend who was a professional actor, Rodney Lusich, who was on Shortland Street and Morphing Teen Titans or something. One of those kids programs, and I'd love him to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it was nice you reading that.
Yeah, really nice.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Wow.
And so EJ Williams, Renaissance Man. What's next on the on the author journey?
So after I'd written that one, I tried a few others. Stories, got halfway through, and eventually came back to writing the sequel to A Volatile Mixtape, which I had the privilege of giving a promotion of it, of the synopsis of it, to a publisher, and it is now with them to be reviewed and see if they will consider publishing it. So watch this space.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's EJ Williams talking about his book, A Volatile Mixtape. So, you heard him before, or you can get a copy from the library, or better still, buy your own copy.
Yes.
Limited edition.
Yes.
Get in quick.
Yep.
Thanks, EJ, for talking to us.
Thanks,
It's been
guys.
amazing. Okay, and we're back. Did you enjoy it? That was the interview with EJ Williams of Tape. Yeah, get a copy of the book. Please read it. Put it on hold at the library. We've got it available. It sounds really interesting, and I'm definitely going to get into it. Now we're playing a song from the mixtape that he made along with the book that he wrote. So,
So from what he was saying, well, each chapter
yeah,
had
as a track.
As a track.
Yeah.
So he's made a mixtape. It's not on tape, or it might be in his house. I don't know,
Yeah.
but he's put it up on Spotify. So if you search for A Volatile Mixtape on Spotify, you can find it. We're going to play a couple of tracks this hour as we go through. Quite a lot of his book focused around like punk music and punk bands. So and I think we're talking early '80s Auckland music scene. So we're going to start with a track by a band called the Androids, and this is called Auckland Tonight.
Cool. Here we go.
Please don't leave me, I won't see you right.
You're back with the shelf. It's Glenn and Zahna with you today. Oh, that was the Adenoids. Auckland tonight.
Sounded good. I liked it. It was really nice.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the band mentioned in the book, which Eddie was, or not Eddie, the
Yes.
character was a part of, called the Adenoids.
Yes.
Maybe a bit of a play on words, I reckon.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And so that was an interview with Eddie. Coming up now, we're going to talk about Play Week.
Yeah. Who got involved? Did you play any board games? There was some out in the library. We had chess, Connect 4, and Harry Potter Cluedo, which I didn't get into, but I'm really interested about. And also, what was it? Lord of the Rings Risk, which was also very interesting, but I didn't get into it. But yeah, Play Week. What's it about, Glenn?
Well, so it's a national event that happens, Play Week, to encourage people to play, in particular children.
Yeah.
But what I did yesterday was talked to a play advocate called Melinda,
Awesome.
works for the district council,
Cool.
and she helped us in the library organise some Play Week activities.
Yep.
So maybe, rather than us try and talk about it,
We'll
we
just
should
go straight in.
let Melinda do the talking for us.
Lovely.
All right, so this is me and a colleague called Ness talking to Melinda. Joined by Melinda Butt, who is the play advocate for the Whangarei District Council. Kia ora, Melinda.
Kia ora, Glenn.
And I've also beside me got Ness, who works here at the library. Kia ora, Ness.
Kia ora.
And we're talking about Play Week, which has just happened. Play Week is an annual celebration that runs from the 26th of October to the 1st of November, and we've just been celebrating it in the library with the help from Melinda.
Yes, that's
With help
correct.
from Melinda.
Yes.
And I would just like to know a bit more about Play Week, Melinda. What can you tell everyone what it is all about?
Okay, Play Week. Well, Play Week is a nationwide event honouring and celebrating the recognition of the importance of play as a value. I think in today's society we often take it for granted or don't really put enough focus on why we should take time out to play and how important it is, especially for our tamariki, in terms of development, but also, you know, life has become quite serious across the board, so you need to counterbalance that with a bit of fun. I can go on to the values of why. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So why is that important, you mean? Yeah.
Why is
tell
that
us.
important? Okay, so it's basically how we learn. You look at any animal out in the wild when they're, say, a little lion cub or something like that. What are they doing? They're just playing the entire time. If they're not eating or sleeping, they're playing. And that's where they learn their life skills. And it's the same for us humans. That's how we really learn how to problem solve. What is risk? What is consequences? If it's like climbing a tree, developmental movement stuff or problem solving. And that comes also into creative thinking. So yeah, it's how to approach life in a pragmatic way, but without any rules when you're a child, that is, and that's what the value of play brings. It also brings a sense of connection internally and externally, and what's so beautiful about play is that it links all generations. For example, I had a kite day during Play Week that was on Saturday the 26th, and I was hoping it would turn out well, but it went even better than I expected.
Awesome.
Because it was just the fact there was just so many different generations there and the huge wide of ethnicities, and that's what play does. It goes across all the sectors and brings people together in a really uncontrived, beautiful, organic way. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I might ask you in a second about the Kite Day a bit more, but is there people not playing as much as they used to?
Yes, I would definitely say so. I mean, some say we have the most sedentary youth we've ever had in our lives as human beings.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, with the onset of devices, that's also helped to add to that situation. Things like even scooters, while you might be out on a scooter that, you know what I mean by scooter, that's the foot one.
Two-wheeled scooter.
Two-wheeled scooter. It's a big difference between standing on a scooter and moving and walking. So just in terms of physical movement, we've reduced that greatly too, and they're having quite negative consequences physically and mentally to our youth in particular, and as they develop.
So a lack of play has, for tamariki, can have negative effects on physical and mental development.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so Play Week's really about trying to encourage people to see the benefits and get out and play.
Get out and play, yeah, and see it as an actual value. And in fact, United Nations have listed it as a right. Children have the right to play, and if we deny them access to play, then we're not honouring their full potential in their development process.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what about for adults? Are you ever too old to play?
Of course not. No. It's just sort of fundamental to our well-being. When people reflect, especially in their later years, and they think, oh, life was really the important parts or the most memorable parts was the little things, those little fun moments. When you think about the fun times you've had, I guarantee there'll be an element of play involved. So from when you're young, it was playing with your friends or doing sort of imagination play or playing in nature. And when you're a teenager, it's perhaps hanging out with your peers and maybe drinking for the first time. And while I'm not advocating that, it's still play focused. And then in your 20s, same sort of thing. And then perhaps you have children, then you reconnect with the value of play again through your children. But even if you don't have children, when you do catch up and sometimes some act of foolery breaks out, that's going to be one of your more memorable moments. And then as you get older as well, something that's just to break the monotony and you get lost in. It could be from cross-stitch to doing chess or cooking a meal. Anything that has an element of play and you're doing it on your own terms. It's not something you have to do, it's something that you want to do, and then you get lost in it just for the pure joy of it. That to me is play.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you find a lot of kids, now tell us about the kite day, were people getting lost in the act of flying
absolutely,
a kite?
Completely lost, and that's what was so good. And I was really interested to see, I like seeing the difference in how different age groups play and what stimulates them into getting lost. And in particular boys, there was these giant snakes. They were huge and they interacted with the wind in a fantastic way, and what it did, it just made them go berserk and chase their tails, and then they got caught up in some whole running around frenzy. It just charged them up and they just went berserk in a great way. And what was interesting for me, a lot of females would get caught up in the technique of flying kites. So they get quite really focused on how to fly the kite, what makes it fly well. So that was interesting. But all of those elements I'm talking about, that is getting lost in something where you're just so focused in on an aspect of play that time just goes by. And same for the adults. I mean, I saw quite a few fathers forget they even had their child there because they got caught up in their kite that they've been stashed at the back of the cupboard for so long, and finally they've got it out and they're flying it. So, that's what I mean by it. All ages get lost in play through the pursuit of something, and having a natural element interact, i.e. the wind, really helps with that as well, because it's not on your terms.
Interesting.
You're interacting with a natural element, so that's another fun factor. Unpredictable. That's when real great things can happen.
Awesome. It's a great feeling when you're doing something and you get lost and then time disappears on you and you forget about it. It's a lovely feeling.
Definitely. The only thing that reminded me about the day, so how many hours I'd spent out in it, was the windburn at the end of the day.
Oh, right.
Because I just running around and helping determined children get their kites in the air, and so it was brilliant.
Where was that?
And that was at the Caledonian Park. They were kind enough to...
it's out in Waipu?
Yeah, Waipu, to let us use the field for free, which was great.
Awesome. And you had a good windy day.
Brilliantly windy day.
That makes kite flying fun.
Yeah, it made it really accessible, because without a good strong wind, most people find it quite hard to get a kite in the air. So you just had to basically stand out there with something that could catch some wind and you were flying a kite. Yeah.
Just because we're doing a library podcast here, have you ever read the book The Kite Runner?
I know of it, but
I think it's by
know.
Khaled Hosseini.
Did that get
Most-
turned into a film?
Oh, might have got turned
Oh,
into
yeah.
a film. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it if it was a film, but
Right.
most wonderful book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that does include some competitive kite flying.
Oh, right.
I think where they try and basically get the kites to fight each other in the air.
Is it a children's book? Or?
No, it's an adult's book set in Afghanistan.
Oh, right. I
Amazing,
have heard of it.
beautiful
but I
book,
haven't
so I
read it.
highly
Oh,
recommend that
all
one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Always like to bring it back to some library stuff, Ness, you know? No, I don't actually. I don't. But I have in this case.
Well, the library, we're talking about play. What did the library do? That
Yeah, so we
soft
had speaking of people getting lost and doing things, we had the play shapes, which we kindly got to borrow from Mackay Stadium, Sport Northland, lent us some soft foam play shapes that children can climb on and jump off and then transform into their own little play station. So there was ramps, there was steps, there were mats, little like lifesaver shaped things that you could break in half and have like semicircles. So they had heaps of fun with that, just playing it during our preschool fun time sessions. But then we got a box of foam mattress cut into small tennis ball sizes, and we turned the play shapes into a pirate ship, put half of the foam in the middle of the pirate ship, half on the outside. All the preschool children, we asked them to go into the middle. We didn't force them. I was going to say we forced all the children into the middle and all the adults, and then we said, right, and we just spent, honestly, we spent 20 minutes throwing foam at each other and just going, over and over, and they showed no signs of tiring of that game.
They could keep going for ages.
It was awesome, and everyone, I mean, it was preschoolers, some parents, some grandparents, everyone having a great time. So it linked in with what you said before about the intergenerational fun part.
And did the parents get a bit lost in it? Did they enjoy it?
I think so, because
Yeah.
time really just whipped by.
Right.
We normally do a
Yeah.
40-minute session, and we were there for about an hour and a bit.
Oh, great.
So, we had a great time.
Yeah. We're never too far away from getting lost in a bit of fun. That's the whole thing, and we just forget about that. And then when we give ourselves the permission to do it, we go, oh yeah, that was brilliant. I had such a great day. And it can be a complete game changer in terms of how your day will go. If you have that little moment of play, it can completely change your mood and your outlook. Yeah. And continue on for days, actually. Having a really
right?
good... Yeah, absolutely, I think so. I mean,
Gives you a good buzz that sort of lasts. Yeah.
I mean, you have the benefit because you're a musician, right, Gaz?
Mm.
Yeah. And so you can have that access to play through the music, and so you tap into that quite a lot. But for those who are listening, I encourage yourself to just give yourself permission to take some time to do something just for the sake of it, just for the joy of it, because that still comes under play. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Definitely playing music in a group. I know what you mean. Like for days afterwards, if it's been good, you've got like a good energy, and you feel great for some time afterwards.
Yeah, and it's that sparring with like for a jam. I play music as well, and there's really good jams where the magic happens.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm on a high for days after that.
That's right. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And then you have to keep going back for more.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that is the reason why I enjoy doing the preschool fun time sessions, because you're basically playing with children, and that is actually, even though it can be hard to do it when you're feeling a bit flat, by the end of it you feel great because you've had to move and get in the moment.
Plus you get caught up in their world and how they see the world, which is such a fresh, open way of looking at the world again.
It's true. So thank you for talking to us, Melinda. As the play advocate, what are your plans if the WDC, Whangarei District Council, like what's the mission of your role in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, how can we create more opportunities to play across the landscape within our own local communities and in the wider district? And that doesn't necessarily mean playgrounds. It's just about where are the invitations, where are the moments we're offering our youth to have some fun. On their own terms too. So quite often, the culture around play has changed quite a lot. I think you and I, Glenn, are of the same generation. We were just told to go out and play and then just come back later. And so it was very, there wasn't any sense of direction from a parent. In fact, a parent wasn't involved. So we were lucky enough to have this totally freedom, this total sense of freedom to play on our own terms and discover in our own ways. Now often play has a parent involved, and play changes when there is an adult. Even on site, you just don't behave the same way as if it's just a bunch of you within the same age group. So that's important. How can we create more opportunities for that type of play? Because that's where where the gold is. Yeah. I mean, it's still great. I understand sometimes you need a parent nearby for health and safety and stuff like that, but we need to create those moments where it's just purely children directed, not adult influenced.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell, but there's so many other factors as well, but in my role, but I would say that's probably one of the most important things I'd like to shine a light on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool message.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to the library and making some stuff happen for us, because we always like doing things that get the community. I mean, libraries obviously got books, but it's more than just the books, and so
such a great help.
So thank you for working with us on
My
Play
pleasure.
Week. It was good fun, and we look forward to doing it again next year, and
I want
maybe.
to do bigger and better next year. Bigger and better.
Well, you've heard it here
Yeah.
on Beagle Radio and on the shelf. Play Week
Yeah.
2025 is going to be bigger and better.
Yeah.
Yay! Have you got any questions for Melinda, Ness?
No questions.
No
No questions.
questions. Well, I've got a question for you. Okay. So, growing up when you were little, what was your favourite thing to do in terms of play?
Playing with my dolls, playing outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with your dolls, then it's kind of imagination.
Yeah.
I find that's quite a common answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So and then at times did you feel that hours went by? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played for so long.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's what we need to remind ourselves about the importance of. That is an actual value. It's an incredibly important value. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Melinda. Thanks, Ness.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
You're listening to The Shelf, Beagle Radio 88.1, and streaming on www.beagleradio.co.nz. Thank you to those people that are listening live. It's always great to have you tuned in.
Definitely.
And also, thank you if you're listening on our podcast, which is up on the Whangarei Libraries YouTube channel.
Yes.
So we've got a few minutes left. You had something that you did in Play Week, Zahna.
Yeah.
That I don't know if we mentioned in that interview or not, but it was to do with Halloween. Tell us about that.
Yeah, very exciting, very spooky. If you've been along we've had 2 late nights at the library in the last month, I'd say. The first was through Fringe, and I hope you all got to experience that. And the second was...
What was the night library?
The night library was we shut down the library and then we opened it up, and you come in the entrance and everything sparkles and glitters, and you can climb the stairs and type a poem on the old typewriter and write out a postcard to your grandmother or a short story, and there was music in the cafe, and there was places to snuggle in and read a book, and it was beautiful. We had an overwhelming response of positivity and love for the event. So yeah, we just astounded by how lovely it was, and many people came, many people met each other, and so just recently, last week we had Northland Youth Theatre. Pucky to them.
Woo!
Amazing!
NYT in the house,
Woo! So, I'd say a group of 10, 12 lovely youth came in, and they set up the whole library in a spooky fashion. We had lines out the door, down the street, kids and adults and teens all dressed up. It was Halloween, and it was nighttime, and the sun's going down, and you went on a tour through the library, and the task was to get back the books that the character needed. So you're on a tour with your group of 10, and you go into the children's section, and all of a sudden there's the spooky lights and the sounds, and you see a juggler all dressed up in colourful clothing, but comes towards you in a spooky fashion, and I just can't even describe how cool it was. There was lots of screaming from the actors and from the public, and some people, including myself, got quite spooked out. They went all in, and everyone appreciated it, and the line kept going and going. They did not stop for hours, and we had to do a big group at the end because it was just getting too late. And yeah, what a success. What a success. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Northland Youth Theatre,
Yeah.
for putting that event on and coming to the library with that, because that was really fantastic. I was sad to miss it.
Yeah. Glenn, where are you?
Devastated.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do it again, either next Halloween or some other time we get to collaborate with Northland Youth Theatre, and yeah, can't thank them enough for doing that.
For sure.
Nice free event for Halloween for people.
Yeah. Thank you. Haunted
Awesome.
Tales in the Library. Great.
And I've seen some videos and heard some audio of the creepy blood-curdling screams and things. So yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah. What else we got on the library lately? We've just got on our usual fun times, knit and natter. We've got Raranga Tonu Carry On Weaving. That's a hui for flax weavers. If that's something you're interested in, come and check it out. These events are all online on our website. We've got lots of heritage talks coming up, which have been super popular in the past. This one's about symbolism in cemeteries, so that kind of, for me, comes into the spooky season. Bill Edwards is going to talk on the 27th of November about the symbols on Northland's gravestones that tell us something about the belief systems of those buried there. So,
Whereabouts is that being held? Is that in the library or is that over in Forum
well, that's
North?
Forum North. This is
Yeah.
Forum North. It's on our website if you're interested, but it's, Forum North,
In the Catholic Suite.
Catholic
I
Suite.
think those talks are quite popular. They're free to go
They
to. You don't have to book, but we just don't have the space in the library to host them in
Right.
our Maybane meeting room, so they take them to the Catholic Suite in Forum North. Sometimes we
over.
have them at the library.
Yeah. Cool. Well, should we go back into some more music?
Yeah,
Anyone missing it?
let's dip into another song from the featured mixtape, featured playlist called A Volatile Mixtape, which stems from the book by
Yes.
E.J. Williams, Volatile Mixtape. This is by Devo. I like Devo the band. Have you heard of Devo before, Zahna?
No.
Early 80s, late 70s band from America. They did a song called Whip It, which is their
Ah.
big signal. Whip It. No? It's not
Maybe.
yeah,
Is
that's
it
a
Whip It
maybe's
Real
a no.
Good,
If
that
you,
one?
Eh?
Whip it real good.
That's
no,
the
no.
one, yeah.
Oh,
that'll
okay,
do.
okay.
Yeah. I
From
think-
somewhere, maybe. Okay.
I'll sing it to
Video
you
games.
more off air. Okay, this one is a Devo song. It's called Secret Agent Man.
Let's go.
You know I live a life of danger for the FBI.
Here we go. We're back. You're listening to Beagle Radio, 88.1 FM. That was
Secret Agent Man by Devo.
Devo. That was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That's coming to the end of our show. Just a couple of minutes left. But, yeah, it's been a great one.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, Zahna.
Yeah, come and visit us in the libraries. We've got everything going on, especially going into the summer. We'll have the mobile library bus heading out to the beaches.
Yeah, we'll try and do that on some days that we can. And we've
Yep.
got summer reading programs and fun things for children, teens to do.
That's cool. Take your book to the beach. Don't
Keep-
leave it in the sand.
Look after it when
Look
you're at the
after
beach.
it. Yeah, but yeah, very thankful to have this show. Just gonna pop in quickly and say that it's Native American Heritage Month, and we've just got a couple of displays going up at the library. So come and enjoy those, and just get into the fiction of those writers. So
You'll have feature some of the books we've got in the library as part of
Definitely.
that display.
yeah, we
There'll
have
be
like
some-
over 20, so it's awesome. We
Will,
got
will
lots.
that include novels and non-fiction as well?
Yep, novels and non-fiction. There's teens, there's juniors, there's adults, so whatever you're into, yeah, there'll be a lot. So that'll just, yeah, you'll see the display. I'm sure you'll see the display.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So that was The Shelf. Back in 2 weeks on a Wednesday. Otherwise, check us out on the library YouTube channel
Yes.
called